So, have you heard about the federal government pulling back funding from New York City for migrant services?
Yeah, I've seen some headlines. What's the full story?
Well, the administration is clawing back millions of dollars that were supposed to help the city house and care for migrants.
Oh no.
City officials are pretty upset about it.
I bet they are. Do they know why the funds are being pulled?
The federal government claims that the city's sanctuary policies conflict with federal immigration enforcement. They argue that funds shouldn't support cities that don't cooperate with ICE.
But isn't that punishing the migrants more than anyone else?
Exactly. It's like penalizing the city for trying to manage a humanitarian situation.
Right.
The city comptroller even called it highway robbery.
That's strong language. But don't you think the city should cooperate more with federal authorities?
Well, I understand that perspective, but the city believes in protecting all residents, regardless of immigration status. They
True.
argue it's about trust and safety in the community.
I get that, but federal laws are still laws. Shouldn't local governments uphold them?
That's a fair point. But local jurisdictions often assert their right to set policies that best serve their communities.
Yeah.
It's a complex balance between federal and local authority.
It's definitely a tricky situation. So what's the city planning to do now?
They're exploring legal options to challenge the funding cut.
I see.
They believe the revocation may violate agreements or even legal rulings.
Do you think they'll succeed?
Honestly, it's hard to predict. The federal government has significant control over funding allocations. But the
Right.
city might argue that pulling already allocated funds is unjust.
It's kind of like making promises and then taking them back.
Exactly. It puts the city in a tough spot financially.
Yeah.
Especially when they've already spent resources expecting that support.
I hope they find a resolution. It's the people who need assistance who are affected the most.
Absolutely. At the end of the day, it's about supporting vulnerable populations.
Definitely.
Politics shouldn't get in the way of that.
Well, maybe this will spark a bigger conversation about immigration policies.
Hopefully. It's a complex issue that needs thoughtful solutions.
Agreed.
Maybe both sides can find some common ground.